Hi, Tukyo. I didn't see you. You were on the second page. We've officially moved into 2 pages now, so. By the way, if any of you are here for the first time, or you're using mobile devices, maybe you want to be in gallery mode so that you see everyone and not just Jundo, because the bowing and everything is done differently, whether it's Jundo or someone else. So, and that way you can see everyone well, or as many as your device allows. Hi, Ahsoka and Naiko and Washin.
Hello, everyone can hear okay?
Yep.
Yeah, very good. Give me a wave there. Oh, there we go. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to our very special annual opening of our season of Jukai, undertaking the precepts, and Ango, the season 90 days of peaceful abiding. This is how we begin, but it actually is a beautiful thing that we do every year with Ango, because it really is a wonderful way to practice and to live. Remember that our Ango is all of your life. And I've had people write me today and say, oh, I wanted to attend today's Zazenkai, but I have family commitments. And I remind you, your family commitments for this Ango are your Ango. They are the place where you put the precepts in practice. And they are the place where you need that peaceful abiding, especially with some of our families, if you get what I drift. I got teenagers. Anyway, We are going to talk today about what is it? The 8 Habits of Effective People, I think it's called. No, that's that other book. This is the 8 Awakenings of great what is it? Great persons, and it's really also a guide to a lovely, beautiful way to live. So it's good to see so many friendly faces, old friends, new friends. We are going to begin right now with our chanting. Our Ino today, I believe, is Koshi. Koshi just had dental work, very big dental work, so he apologizes for his voice. But I remind everyone, we are the Sangha of people that always have, shall I say, one issue or another in health, right? So it's very perfect for Koshi's little sore throat to be our Ino today. So thank you, Koshi. Everyone, if you would prepare for ceremony, we are going to recite the Heart Sutra, then the identity of relative and absolute, and then a little dedication to the health and peace of this world. And we could use a little peace. If you've been here before, you know what to do. And if it's your first time, just follow along. All right.
Maka hanya haramita singyo kanji zaibo satsugyō jin hanya haramita chisho gengo ankai kudo isaiku Yakusha rishi shiki fui kuku fui shiki shiki soku ze guku soku ze shiki ju sogyo shiki yakubu nyo ze shari shi ze Hoku sofu sofu metsu fuku fujo fuzo fuin seikoku chubu shiki buju sogyo shiki mugin shiki kai bu myo yaku bu myo jin nai shi bu shi yaku mu ro shi jin mu ku shu metsu do mu chi yaku mu toku i mu sho toku dai sa dai hanya hara mita koshin mukege mukege go mu ku fu mon ri isai do mu so ku gyo ni an san ze sho batsu e hanya hara mita kotoku anoku tara sangakyu odai go chi hanya hara mita zis dai jin shu se dai shu se mu jo shu se mu to do shu do jo isai ku shinjitsu fuko ko satsu hanya hara mita shu soku setsu shu watsu gyate gate hara gate hara so gate oji soaka hanya shingyo. The identity of relative and absolute. The mind of the great sage of India is intimately conveyed west and east, while human faculties are both wise or dull in the way there are no northern or southern ancestors. The subtle shore shines clear in the light, the branching streams flow in the dark. To be attached to things is primordial delusion. To encounter the absolute is not yet enlightenment. All spheres, every sense and field intermingle even as they shine alone, interacting even as they merge, yet keeping their places and expressions of their own. Sights differ primarily in shape and character, and sounds in harsh or soothing tones. The dark makes all words one. The brightness distinguishes good and bad phrases. The four elements return to their true nature as a child turns to its mother. Fire is hot, water is wet, wind moves and the earth is dense. Eye and form, ear and sound, nose and smell, tongue and taste are sweet and sour, each independent of the other. Like leaves that come from the same root. And though leaves and root must go back to the source, both root and leaves have their own uses. Light is also darkness, but do not think of it as darkness. Darkness is light, do not see it as light. Light and darkness are not one, not two, like the foot before and the foot behind in walking. Each thing has its own being, which is not different from its place and function. The relative fits the absolute as a box in its lid. The absolute meets the relative, like two arrow points that touch in midair. Hearing this, simply perceive what is, make no criterion. If you do not see the way, you do not see it even as you walk upon it. Walking forward in the way, you draw no nearer, progress no farther. One who fails to see this truth is mountains and rivers away. Listen, those who would perceive this subtle matter. Live well your time by night and day. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe. reality existing right here now, and reciting the heart of the perfection of Great Wisdom Sutra and the identity of relative and absolute, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha, Honored One, the historical Buddha and teacher, and to those ancestral teachers, Eihei Dogen, Honored One, Soji Keizan, Honored One, all successive Honored Ones up until Zuigaku Renpo, Honored One, and Gudo Wafu, Honored One, and to all other Honored Ones throughout history, same yet diverse Honored Ones whose names have been forgotten or left unsaid. We also dedicate these efforts to the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, to all awakened ones and teachers in all places and times. We especially seek tranquility and well-being for all creatures now suffering or ill in health. May they be serene through all their ills. May their lives be at peace and wisdom pervade the darkness of ignorance. We dedicate our hopes and aspirations to all victims of war and violence and natural events, to the injured and to all families touched by these tragedies, to the healing of hatred in all countries and among all peoples, to the wisdom and compassion of our world leaders, to the peace of the world and harmony of all beings. Thus let the harmful effects of words, thoughts, and actions be dispelled, and compassion bloom in perpetual spring. May we all realize and live the enlightened way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time. All Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha, Prajna, Paramita.
Zazen. Kinhin. Zazen? Kinhin. How are you doing? Marco's no friends today?
Maybe he's three of us.
we will have a talk on Zazen. Why don't you just sit around here and have some tea, okay? During the talk, you can sit Zazen, you can have some tea, you can just sit and listen, or sit and just sit Zazen. We have our gardener here today. You may hear the cicadas during our talk today, and if the cicadas start to preach, sing, I'll have to stop and let them take the talk, because anything they have to say is much wiser than anything I say. Beyond, do we have the verse to open the sutras? Otherwise I can, or you're going to do it? I can do it. I'll take, you close them, I'll open it. How's that?
Perfect.
The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered but rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, perceive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true teaching. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, perceive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound yet infinitely subtle, is always encountered yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. Okay, lovely. This is the opening of our Jukai and Ango season. Some of you may notice I'm doing something new today. For 16 years I realized maybe I'll try sitting up here and maybe I will succeed. Thank you, Marco. Maybe I will succeed without breaking my neck. 1 inch back, and you're going to see, suddenly I'm going to disappear out the back here, off the back of the Tan platform. And my apologies, Marcos is back there. Give away, Marcos. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Our little talk today, you might say, well, this is Jukai season. Shouldn't we be talking about the precepts? And you'll see that we are. And we're also talking about Zazen. And we were talking about the Eightfold Path, the traditional Buddha's teaching of the path we practice. As a matter of fact, these simple little, shall we say, guides to living truly encompass so much of the path if you reflect on them. These are the 8 understandings of the great person. Now, the understandings here, sometimes it's translated as the 8 great truths, or the 8 great awakenings, maybe or realizations, maybe the best translation. There are things not only we realize intellectually, but we realize in how we live. For this is truly a guide to living well. Practicing well, undertaking Buddhism well, but also doing all we do well at home, in our town, in our work. You'll see these rules are amazingly wise and expansive. Now, they are said to be Master Dogen's final teaching, at least the final teaching in which he left us a written record. And they're supposed to be the Buddha's final teaching, just before he passed into what we call parinirvana. That's where we no longer have use for this body and we just merge back into the great wholeness that is all that we've never truly left. And that's called the great nirvana. So that may sound kind of like it's something for the end of life, but actually it's quite the contrary. Master Dogen and the Buddha meant this as a guide to living life. It's a guide for what we should do between now and our parinirvana, which hopefully is not too soon. So we have a lot of time and life to spend between now and then. And for that reason, we should do so well. So these, shall we say, guidelines or understandings of the great person are known in Japanese as the Hachi Dainin Gaku. Gaku means something like realization or to awaken. But who is this great person? Well, the great person, sometimes said in the great man, but you know, it means any person. The kanji just means person, it doesn't mean man. But who is this great man? Well, it means the Buddha, right? He's a great guy, truly a great being, a great human being, a great realized being. But it means any great person, and that doesn't mean like a famous person or a celebrity or some powerful person. It means a person who lives greatly, a person who lives in a great way. So it's you too. It's your great understanding, I hope. So without further ado, let's just delve right in. There's 8 of them. I think this time we're going to do 4, and next time we'll do the other 4. And it begins. Most of this is the Soto Zen Text Project translation, but I put in a little Tanahashi and a little Nishijima Roshi. The Buddhas are great persons. What the great person understands is called the 8 understandings of the great person. Understanding of these dharmas is the cause of nirvana. There you go. All right. They are the final teaching of our Buddha Shakyamuni on the night he entered nirvana, on the great nirvana, on his last night. Now, I was joking before that we could call this the what is it? The 8 steps of the truly effective person, like a self-help book, right? It also has a little in common, you'll see, with the, what is it, the Alcoholics Anonymous, the, what is it, the 8 steps, right? No, I mean that seriously. Because so much of this has to do with our desire and avoiding excess desires, addictions. So there's a lot of common here. This is truly Master Dogen's 13th century self-help book. I'm sorry. It's one of the clearest things he ever wrote. Most of it, by the way, is not his words. He just added a little appendix at the end, which we're not even going to get to till next time. These are all just words taken from the sutra and a certain commentary, but they're just clear. I should just basically just read them and shut up and that's it. I just want to mention too, Uchiyama Roshi could not shut up about them, and he has a wonderful new book. It's not a new book for him. He hasn't been with us. He went into parinirvana a few decades ago too. So it was actually an old book in Japan, but it was recently translated into English. I put a link there in our thread. And I have to say, I haven't read the book yet, and I did that kind of intentionally. See, Uchiyama Roshi, did he say basically what I say about these? I bet you he does, because they're so clear. So clear. But even though I have not read the book, because it is Uchiyama Roshi's book, I'm going to recommend the book to you right now. If you'd like to know more about these 8 understandings, read Uchiyama's the recent translation. Okay. Number 1, few desires. Among the objects of the five desires are what we desire with the eyes, and what we desire with the tongue, and what we desire to touch, and what we desire to smell and grab, right? What we desire with the senses. Among the objects of all the five senses, not widely pursuing those not yet acquired, is called having few desires. The Buddha said bhiksus. Bhiksus meant monks, but this is for all Buddhists, lay people, not just for monks. It's just such common sense. Bhikkhus, you should know that those with many desires, because they seek much fame and profit, also have much suffering. Well, that makes sense. It seems like some of our most famous and richest people in the world, I'm not going to say any names, some of our most powerful people who live as leaders of this world, again, no names, seems that they're some of the most miserable and frustrated and unhappy sometimes, and, for all their fame and wealth and power. They have so much suffering. Basically, this is the Buddhist suffering, which is called dukkha. And dukkha means, is a word that is sometimes translated as life is suffering, and that people think, oh, that means life is painful and life is unpleasant. But it's actually subtly different. Life is more, dukkha is more translated as somehow disappointment, dissatisfaction, when our desires are frustrated, you see. It's a subtle point. What's the difference? Well, for example, you would think we get sick, that's suffering. Not according to Buddhism, and I've been there when I was very sick, and we've got some folks here with some health struggles, and I hope many of you can attest to that. There is a difference between the suffering of being sick, or pain even, and the suffering of not wanting to be that way. If you accept even your illness, or your loss, or the ups and downs of life, then there is no dukkha. And I've been there when I was very, very sick and lying in a hospital bed, and at one moment I'm so miserable. I don't want to be here. I want to be home with the kids and the cat and my wife, right? I don't want to have that operation, all these things. And then suddenly, from years of this practice, you can turn it, and I would be no place else. Where else is there to be? A peace right there in the situation. The dukkha was gone. I saw a couple of heads nodding. Some folks that I know have a little bit of a health burden they're carrying. Nod, you guys who've been there, what I just said. Give me a little nod. Don't hurt your necks, though. We got some fragile people here. So that's the difference between this suffering and what usually we think. If you think that Buddhism is going to take away, you're stubbing your toe, or you're getting a heart attack someday, or you're crashing the car every once in a while, or you're losing your favorite whatever. Your favorite program on TV being canceled. If you think Buddhism is going to prevent all your problems, no. Life is life. But what Buddhism will do is relieve you of the dissatisfaction when you're discontent with the turns life takes. Dukkha, the way I define it, is you want life to be X, but life is Y. The gap between X and Y is dukkha. You want to go left. Life takes a right turn, that's the dukkha. But if your heart goes with the flow, if left, left, if right, right, there is no dukkha. It's very simple, really. All right, let's continue there. Those of few desires, being without seeking and without desiring, are without these troubles. Having few desires should be practiced in its own right. How much more then, when having few desires can produce merits? Yes, it's good for our practice. Those of few desires do not flatter others in order to please others, By the way, though, after this, you can certainly post how much you like this talk. I wouldn't mind. Go ahead. You can. So anyway, those of few desires do not flatter others in order to please others, nor are they led about by their sense organs. In those who practice few desires, the mind is at ease, without anxiety or fear. They have plenty in all matters, never feeling unsatisfied. For those with few desires, this is nirvana. That's it. This is nirvana. This is called few desires. By the way, this applies to karate too. It applies to all aspects of life, and let me explain how. People think that this is telling you, oh, we should be without all desires. Well, no. Unless you just want to stay in bed all day and not even bother to have breakfast. Even the Buddha had desires. He got up, he put on his shoes. Well, they didn't wear shoes, but you get my point. And he'd set off walking to get his breakfast. And he would go off somewhere to teach, and he would give a talk. He desired certain things. He built a sangha. Dogen had desires. Dogen built a sangha, built temples. Dogen wrote things. As a matter of fact, this talk, there's a little note at the end by Dogen's faithful secretary, Eijo, that said, oh, Dogen was in the process of rewriting the Shobogenzo, and unfortunately he left us, so he never finished it. But he had desires. He had goals. So what could this mean, have no desires? Okay. People go to extremes of one or the other. First off, have good goals, healthy goals. Have moderate goals for living. Don't become a prisoner of your goals. Know when enough is enough. Don't have the desire for unhealthy things, whether it's alcohol or amphetamines or just too much money and too much fame or anything like that. No simplicity and moderation, because desires are like fire. Fire is good for cooking and heat when it's kept in the hearth, when it's kept in the oven. But when it runs wild, it burns down the house, the town, the whole forest. No offense, anyone here in California, you know about this. Burns down the whole state. Desires in moderation. And we're also going to see, this is another wonderful trick of Zen, which people don't realize what it means until I say it. You can have contentment and desires at the same time. You can have disappointment and contentment at the same time. How? There is a vast difference between being disappointed and being content to be disappointed sometimes. You can be a little worried about something, or you can be a little unhappy about something that turned out, or you can have a problem in life and content to have problems in life, and content to be sometimes a loser on some things, and content to sometimes be sick, and content to sometimes make a bad choice, and content sometimes even to have the dog go to paranirvana. There's a difference between being disappointed in life and falling in and wallowing in the disappointment. There's a difference between having moderate desires and becoming a prisoner of desires, and being content, even as you have some desires, content even to have some disappointments. This is, if you ask me, our shikantaza path. That's why he says it's nirvana. For me, the Buddha left his home. Oops, I almost was content to go right off the back of this thing. You almost lost me there. I got to get seatbelts on this thing. Okay. The Buddha left his home. He was, talk about a wealthy guy, right? He was a celebrity. He lived in a mansion, right? Had a harem, the whole thing. And he was unhappy. So he goes wandering off and tries many extreme things. Finally, after trying this and that, reading this self-help book and trying that guru, he sits under a tree and he saw the morning star shining and he was content in the simplicity. I posted something this week is that I think that was the original interpretation of the jhana, in which he sat in radical equanimity, going, life is tough, but it's okay. And he was content and satisfied. The fires of burning became moderate. They became light, not a forest fire. Oh, okay. We got someone joining a little late. Good. So this is the lesson. Have desires, but also, let's go to number 2. Know contentment. Rule number 2. Knowing contentment is to know how much is enough. Even if you already have something, you set a limit for yourself for using it, so you should know how much is enough. It is called knowing contentment. Enough is enough. I just saw today that a certain very wealthy man may become the world's first trillionaire. And I had to say, maybe enough is enough. Most of us, especially in the Western world, live better than kings in the old days. Kings didn't have electric lights, they didn't have refrigerators, they sure didn't have microwaves, they did not have entertainment with 700 channels at the push of a button, they did not have music that popped up by, little things in their ears. They did not have vehicles that with air conditioning that drove them. I mean, they had guys who carried them here and there, but there was no air conditioning in those, old things. They didn't have hospitals. I don't care how rich you are. Hey, John, come in. Good to see you. We're already having the talk. Just grab some tea, sit some zazen. John is here. I thought you were leaving for the great unknown there. Not yet? Okay, good. All right. So, of course, we also have people in this world who truly do not have enough. We have people in war zones who are being bombed and do not have a place to sleep in peace. They don't have a place to go to school. They don't have food. They don't have medicine. Okay? Somewhere between there's enough. There's enough. I think most of the people here have enough. I have enough. I have more than enough. So be content with enough. Be content even sometimes when life takes those turns you don't welcome, you see. So the Buddha said, Bhikkhus, if you wish to be liberated from sufferings, you should contemplate knowing contentment. The Dharma of knowing contentment, this is a place of wealth and joy, peace and tranquility. Those who know contentment are happy even when sleeping on the ground. No, I like my mattress, but okay. Those who do not know contentment are still dissatisfied even when staying in a heavenly mansion. Okay? Those not knowing contentment are poor even when rich. Those knowing contentment are rich even when poor. It's just so obvious. Yes. And how many people are truly discontent when rich? And how many people are poor who should not be that poor? But in between, we can know contentment. There's the old saying, and it's true. I've been in a lot of places in the world. Sometimes you go to places, you go, boy, this is one of the poorest places I've ever been. I've been to, years ago, places in Laos, western part of China, places in India, all right? And I would struggle to live there, all right? But when you met people on a one-to-one basis, they seemed pretty much happy or discontent as anyone I've met, frankly, these days, turning on the internet in my own country, in New York City. I don't know why people can have so much and be so unhappy. The economists talk about rising expectations. The more we get, the more we want. Yeah? You got more now than your parents had and my grandparents, 1950, 1930. But it's not stopping. And the more new things we get, I got 700 channels. Why don't I have 1,500 channels? I got the AI now, but the AI is not doing everything I want. So I'm discontent with my AI. Louis C.K., who, by the way, is a comedian who got into terrible trouble because he said some not correct things, okay? But he's also, some other things he said, a wise guy. The best story ever is, did everyone know his airplane story? Okay, I'm going to tell his there. I can't tell as well as him. But he was on like one of the shows, Conan, or one of these late night shows, and he said, I'm on an airplane, and they had just introduced the internet to the airplane. So we're cruising there at 30,000 feet, and the guy next to me is going, what is going on? The internet on this plane is so bad. I can't get a signal. And he's complaining, And Louis turns to him and goes, wait a second. Okay, they just brought the internet on the plane. It's not working so good. Okay, fine. But sir, do you realize you are in a tube, sitting in a chair in the sky, crossing the world like only the gods could be imagined to do in ages past? You are breathing air and having a little tomato juice, sitting in the sky above the clouds, and you are complaining about the phone service? Get my point? Okay. Those not knowing contentment are poor even when rich. Those knowing contentment are rich even when poor. Those who do not know contentment are always led about by the 5 desires of the eyes, the ears, the tongue, and are pitied by those who know contentment. This is called knowing contentment. So again, be content even when you're discontent. Be content to sometimes be discontent. It's called life. I was going to write a self-help book, a Zen self-help book. I'm going to do this someday. And it was going to be my 12 steps to get everything you want. Here was what it was going to do. It's going to be kind of bait and switch, okay? It was going to be, I will give you the secret to having all the money you want. How? You desire to have the money you have. I will give you the secret to the health you desire. How? By desiring the health you have. And it will go on like that. I will give you the secret to getting the marriage partner you want. How? By being content with the partner you have. Now, again, Zen Buddhism does not solve all your problems. Sometimes you don't have enough money. You have to work harder. All right? Sometimes things don't turn out. Sometimes you do get sick. It's called life. I'm going to tell you a personal story. I think we're on a new schedule, but I think I got it this time, Bjorn. I'm on schedule here. Okay. I had this happen to me this week. So I'm a Japanese translator. This AI thing has made translation a little more competitive business. Okay. Plus I turned 65. Plus I had the idea I want to do something for my community. So I was going to build a kind of little side business, a kind of play place for families and kids. I don't want to fill you in on the details now. Some folks know what it is, but it's a very popular little play kind of game. Okay, I'll tell you, mini golf. I was going to build a mini golf here in Japan. Okay, they don't have mini golf. I thought, oh, you know what this town needs? This town needs a mini golf. Okay, this is my little dream. I'm 65. You get these crazy dreams. I'm going to bring mix, and it's clean business, alcohol. Families will get together. You got to put the phones down. You got to talk to each other. You have a good time. Okay. So I'm going to build this mini golf, and I found this beautiful place to build a mini golf. And then that's when the problem starts. The builder comes and he goes, you can't do that, and the city code and the building code, and you need better bathrooms, and you do. Oh, I'm putting 18 holes in the ground. I thought all I got to do is I got to dig 18 holes in the ground. What could be simpler than 18 holes in the ground? It turns out I might as well be building the Great Wall of China. I'm just telling you, okay? So it's a little frustrating. You may hear my voice. I'm getting a little worked up here. Calm, Jundo. So this week we finally found a place. The builder comes again. He looks at it and he goes, no, you can't, this place has got too many problems, and back to square one. I was a little disappointed. I actually had kind of teared up for a second, for about 3 minutes. And then I remembered, wait a second. And I was content for my disappointment. Okay, on to the next thing. On to the next thing. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you're sick, sometimes you're healthy. Sometimes you're young, sometimes you're old. Contentment. That's why we sit Shikantaza, by the way. This is where it all connects, because Shikantaza, what are we doing while sitting? We're sitting in the contentment and completion of just sitting. We're sitting with one desire, to sit. The desire is fulfilled just by sitting. There's no other place to be, nothing more to do. We sit. That's about Shikantaza. This is also about the precepts, by the way. How? Most of the precepts come down to this. What is anger? Usually if someone's disappointed and is mad at somebody else about it. What is violence? Same thing. What is stealing? Taking what is not yours. Usually because you don't need it, you just take it. Same thing. Discontent. Desire. The precepts are all here too, if you think about it. Okay. Number 3, enjoying quietude. This is hard for us. I have to modify this one a little. Living alone in a vacant space, apart from hustle and bustle, is called enjoying quietude. The Buddha said, if you bhikkhus wish to seek the unconditioned joy of quietude, you should live alone in a quiet abode, apart from hustle and bustle. Those who live in quiet places are all respected by Lord Sakra and the other devas. That's a pretty good endorsement. The Indian gods would approve. Therefore, abandoning your own group or other groups, you should live alone in a vacant space, thinking on eradicating the root of suffering. Those who enjoy groups suffer multiple afflictions. They are like a great tree troubled by withering and breaking when birds gather on it. When we are bound to the world, we drown in sufferings, like an old elephant sinking in mud, unable to extricate itself. This is called isolation. Well, I'm going to disagree with the Buddha a little. Am I allowed to do that? Yeah. Buddha, no, not this one so much. Okay? All right? It was easy for you, guy. You're in ancient India. You're the Buddha. Put on your robe, go off for a few days, be in solitude. But yet even he could not be in solitude. He had to come back and be in with all his thousands of monks. And by the way, if you read the early precepts, the stories about how much trouble those monks were, he had his hands full. My priest will testify, I got my hands full managing my 12 or 13 priests here. It's like herding cats. I can't imagine the Buddha. I'm not looking at you, Shinkong. I'm not looking at you, Beyond, not you personally. I didn't mean it. I'm just in general. It's like herding cats. It's like herding cats. Imagine the Buddha with his 2,000 priests. They gave him all kinds. You have to be socially involved. Who's going off in isolation? I'm sure we'd all like to sometimes. Wouldn't you like to go off somewhere? Just be on. Yeah, sure. My wife and kids, they love it. My clients, my boss. I'm not going anywhere. So I'm going to modify this. This is our Shinkantaza practice too. Yes, know the quietude and solitude between your own ears. Thank you very much. Then you could be in Times Square in New York City and in the most still and quiet place in the world. This is also our Shinkantaza practice. Yes, sometimes even Dogen did it. Sometimes you go up into the mountains a few days, into your hut, write some poetry, turn off the TV. Well, he didn't have a TV, so that was easy to do, you know. But go off, be by yourself, disconnect, do some fishing. Well, Buddhists shouldn't fish, maybe. But you get my point. You gotta sometimes, yeah, you gotta go off, pitch a tent, go off there. Okay, great. But then even Dogen had to go back. He'd look at his watch. He didn't have a watch, but you get my point. He'd go, uh-oh, I got to go back down to AHE. He'd come down the mountain, back into the chaos of his monastery with all the cats stirred, and he had to get back to it, okay? You're in the middle of it. So here's what I'm going to say to you. Know the quietude between your own ears. This is the practice. Then you have your own hut in the mountains right here behind your forehead. Okay? So, and number 4, diligent exertion. It is to engage ceaselessly in wholesome practices. That is why it is called diligent effort. It is refinement without mixing in other activities. You keep going forward without turning back. But wait a second, didn't he say to have no desires? What's this about keep going forward? The Buddha said, if you bhikkhus diligently exert yourself, things will not be difficult for you. Therefore, you should diligently exert yourself, just as even a small amount of water constantly running can penetrate stone or melt a mountain. If the mind of the practitioner repeatedly neglects and abandons the practice, it is just as if one boring wood to make a fire were to stop, twirling the twigs, and you stop before it gets hot, and there will be no fire. The fire will be hard to get. So keep going. This is called exertion. So what does he say? One day he said, be content, have no desires. Now he's telling us, but work hard, exert yourself. What could he possibly mean? Well, again, we need good desires. There are things we got to do. We have to put food on the table. Even the Buddha had to put food on the table every day. We have things to do. Exert yourself in them, but also be content. You can do both. The Buddha, Dogen, these were people with goals. They were people who did things. Dogen wanted to write the Shobo Genzo. That's why we have these words. The Buddha wanted to build his community and give his teachings. These were not people who just sat around. Sometimes we sit zazen, but then we get up and do things. So the rule here is exert yourself, be diligent in the good things. Work hard. Practice your karate. Take your trip back home. Okay? There are places you need to go. There are things you need to train and do hard. Okay? But be content each step of the way. Practice, 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 but every step is its own arrival. You see, this is shikantaza. We must also be diligent each day to keep the precepts. If you're going to be sewing a raksu, it's diligent. Now, not too much stress, not too relaxed. We say like a guitar chord. If it's too tight, it's going to snap, there's no music. If it's too loose, it's off key, there's no music. But when your attitude is, how to say, not too loose, not too tight, and content all along the way, beautiful music results. When you sew your raksu for Jukai, the same attitude. Every stitch is wonderful and complete. And this stitch is wonderful and complete. And I'm content and content. And you know what? When you're sewing, Bjorn will testify, you're going to make mistakes. As a matter of fact, we kind of want you to make mistakes. I think we've set up a couple of places, little traps there intentionally. Bjorn's hiding his face, where we've kind of made sure you're going to make a mistake or two. We want it. Why? Be content to make the mistake. Bow to it. Go back, fix it. It's not terrible. And start again. Diligent, step by step, content with each step, but diligently walking forward. It's called shikantaza. It's called the precepts. It's called the first 4 of, that's a drum roll, the 8 understandings of the great person. Okay. Any questions, complaints, flattery? What did he say? Flattery to anything at all? Just raise your hand if you have a question or something. Yes, B. Bjorn.
No, B is fine. uh, I don't have a question. Thank you for this talk. I think it's such an appropriate subject, especially because so many of you here are gonna actually participate in Jukai. So we talk about our lineage practicing the Nyoho way. So we're gonna sow a Rakusu, that's the Nyoho way. And part of the heart and essence of Nyoho is precisely what Jindo was talking about, the first two of these realizations, few desires and contentment. And so you'll bump into wanting to choose the nice fabric, the nice color. What do I like about this? Which thread do I want? And so I find this so wonderful to begin with this particular topic and these particular understandings. And I'm hoping that for the next 3 months, 4 months, all of you are going to get to look deeper into what these mean and how they tie into this process that you'll be a part of, which I hope you enjoy, all of you.
Yeah, yeah. That's all, the whole thing. In Jukai, in your life, whatever, have some desires, good desires, in moderation. Use the fire, keep the fire moderate, use the power of the fire, get things done. But at the same time, just be content all across along the way, including sometimes when you get burned. Very, very, very simple. Anyone else? It's nice to see so many nice faces. Just wave your hand, or I like to we have this wonderful two-way ability to talk to each other. Somebody? This is where I usually volunteer my priest. Somebody? Oh, Shinko, I saw you had a question.
This is a good place to start, and I'm glad you covered this topic, these 8 things, and I've had to deal with that, to be content with my discontent, my dukkha. That didn't come out right. Anyways, yeah, so it just seemed to escalate, and all I could do is go, here's another thing. I'm going to let that go because I have to move on and do the next thing. And that's just how life is. And I got to move on and keep going. And it's just been hectic. It's been crazy.
I'm not going to go into details, but Shinkon, like anyone in life, has had a few ups and downs, and a few downs, not his own doing. I mean, life just handed him some stuff, okay? And when it hands you that stuff, first you go, oh my gosh, that is like a frying pan over the head. But there's a difference between having the stuff and being content to have the stuff and dealing with it, and letting the stuff just sweep you away. And our practice, I think, is just to recognize that this life is sometimes this stuff, to bow to it and to handle it as gracefully as we can, and flow with it as best we can. Sorry, it's not going to fix your flat tire. You got to still grab the jack and do that yourself. Anyone else before we move on? Well, very good. Then Bjorn, you want the verse to close the sutras? That I am content to say I almost ended on time.
May the merits of these teachings penetrate into each thing in all places, so that we and every sentient being together may realize the Buddha's way. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Mahaprajna Paramita.
Okay, our new feature we do here, this is like the 7th inning stretch in baseball. You get up and stretch. Just move those legs and stuff. I'm going to try to get off of here without breaking my neck again. Okay, let's just move around. We're going to sit zazen in a minute. Just move everything. Okay. All right. All right. We used to dance here, and what was happening was YouTube was giving us copyright in violations every week. We can't dance anymore, but if you want to dance a bit, nothing, no, I'm going to dance, swing around, do some karate kata maybe. Okay. All right. Zazen. We will now recite the metta verses. You can listen silently in Zazen or chant along with your voice or in your heart. We will think about those who are discontented today, including ourselves. Then maybe you will dedicate to a family member, someone you love who has certain discontents, a friend who is often discontented, maybe a stranger who may be a difficult person in this world or in your life. Their being difficult is certainly somehow related to their discontent, and then to all beings, for we are always all discontented sometimes. May I be free of suffering. May I feel safe and still. May I be free of enmity, hate, usually caused by discontent. May I be loving, grateful, and kind. May I be healthy, but because I'm not and often discontent about it, may I be at ease in all my ills. May I be at peace, embracing, allowing, permitting all conditions of life. Now, someone we love, you can hold them in your heart. May he be free of suffering. May he feel safe and still. May he be free of enmity. May he be loving, grateful, and kind. May he be healthy, and when not at ease in all his ills, may he be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Now, maybe a friend, maybe you may know someone who seems to be never quite happy in his shoes in this life. Anyone? Okay. May she be free of suffering. May she feel safe and still. May she be free of enmity. She seems to have a lot right now. May she be loving, grateful, and kind. May she be healthy and at ease in all her ills. May she be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Now, a passing stranger, you may not know their problems or their discontents, but certainly as human beings they have something. So let's chant for the stranger. May they be free of suffering. May they feel safe and still. May they be free of enmity. May they be loving, grateful, and kind. May they be healthy and at ease in all their ills. May they be at peace, embracing all conditions. That means all conditions of life. Okay? Next, the difficult person in your life or in the news. There's certainly enough of those. May they be free of suffering. May they feel safe and still, because they're not feeling so as the cause of their actions. May they be free of enmity. May they be loving, grateful, and kind. Just a little bit more would help. May they be healthy, because something seems wrong there, and at ease in all their ills. May they be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. And then maybe they would not be like that. And finally, for all sentient beings everywhere, because we all have our discontents. May we be free of suffering. May we feel safe and still. May we be free of enmity. May we be loving, grateful, and kind. May we be healthy and at ease in all our ills. May we be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. We will now recite the verse of atonement and the 4 vows. Be content, Marcos, with your stiff leg.
All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, O beings numberless, to transform all delusions, O delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, O beings numberless, to transform all delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, O beings numberless, to transform all delusions, O delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable.
All right, an auspicious beginning to our Jukai and Ango season, as the Japanese say, omedetashi, omedetashi. I'll give you a little homework for this week. If you get a little sad or afraid, I think the modern expression is give yourself space or permission. Be content to be a little sad, a little afraid. Don't get angry, don't get fall into it, don't wallow in it, but give yourself space, you're a human being. Be content to lose and be disappointed a little this week. Try it out a few things if it happens. See if it makes a difference, okay? Otherwise, off to our sewing. Our precepts will be posted today. Our sewing starts, and we're off to the races with no goal. All right, see you guys later. All right? Lovely to have you here. See you guys. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Jindo. Bye, everyone.